So if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you've probably come across the Dragon Ball fan manga, Dragon Ball AF, created by Toyble. This manga is also known for the birth of Super Saiyan 5 Goku, which is kinda funny considering we don't see much of Super Saiyan 5 Goku. Another thing about Toybles AF is it's also known for the God Saiyan Hybrid Xicor, and while Super Saiyan 5 Goku is shown to be powerful, without it, Xicor is the strongest being in AF. Fans like to pair him up with the form that is usually used by another god with the Saiyan's body. So of course, being a power scaler, my first thoughts are, damn, nicely. I mean, how strong would Xicor be if he went to Super Saiyan Rose? Of course, with a hypothetical question like this, we need to break it down to actually find the answer. So a timestamp set in the description, we have 3 different parts of the video. How strong is Xicor normally? How strong is Super Saiyan Rose? And of course, how strong could Xicor be if he acquired this new godly strength? Would it be enough to beat the legend of Super Saiyan 5? Let's find out. If you're interested in more Dragon Ball content like this, you can always hit the subscribe button, but if you wish to change your mind, you can always do that as well. When it comes to actually power scaling a fan-made character like Xicor, we can decide on either using the feats and statements of the original series to boost the scaling, or just use what's presented in the actual manga. Since this is a hypothetical, we'll take all of the GT timeline and what happens in AF for a fair idea of Xicor's full potential. Which is impressive since the moment he came to Earth, Xicor was so strong that Vegeta thought fusion wouldn't be enough to even contest with him. Considering the most powerful character up to this point of the timeline is Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, who with a finger had enough powers capable to beat a potential macrocosm destroyer like Omega Shenron. Vegeta and Gohan should also arguably be stronger than they were in GT, implying the fusion would be stronger as well. There is also further showings of Xicor having power beyond Gogeta, as his ki was shown to be the greatest when getting serious. What's crazy is even if Gogeta wasn't a part of the discussion, he would still have power far greater than anyone else in GT. If he was not stopped, he would have been a threat to anything from the mortal universe all the way to the Dragon Realm, which is an inaccessible realm to the mortal macrocosm. While this could mean it's a higher dimension from the macrocosm, it's straight up stated in this guide statement that it's a higher plane of existence. Depending on where you scale the macrocosm is up to you, so I won't be saying anything else to go further into the dimensional scale. Unfortunately, this is the most we get for Xicor, as the manga was discontinued before we could ever find Super Saiyan 5 Goku or have a proper conclusion. So let's jump to the next part. How strong is Super Saiyan Rose? Now some fans may argue that it depends on either the anime or the manga's form, as they have different power multipliers, which I don't really understand why they still think this. The manga states Rose to be another version of Blue, however in the anime, just because we don't have such a statement of showing a normal Super Saiyan Goku Black, then Rose must be Super Saiyan level. However, let me clear things up and explain why both should be reasonably at the same power level of Blue. In this statement, Rose and Super Saiyan are separated when described, which makes sense that Goku Black could probably use both forms in the anime just like he could in the manga. There's also Trunks saying that he isn't shocked by Super Saiyan Blue as if he has seen it before, obviously referring to Super Saiyan Rose later on. And finally, the infamous statement of this is interpreted that Rose is Super Saiyan level, but the translation literally says Rose is Goku Black Super Saiyan, but a match for Blue. Now for the actual power of Blue to scale Rose to, we have to find the strength of Z Super Vegeta to find a fair scale. Depending on your thoughts of fusion, Vegeta can range anywhere in power from his base being Super Saiyan 3 level to his Super Saiyan form being Super Saiyan 4 level. There are even statements where base Vegeta is a fighter A times fighter B multiplier, and honestly this is all up to your interpretation. In comparison to Super Saiyan God, Super Vegeta wouldn't stand a chance against the suppressed Beerus, yet Goku thought he was definitely going to beat him with Super Saiyan God. With Super Saiyan Blue being a whole Super Saiyan amp on top of Super Saiyan God, it would make Rose leagues beyond Super Vegeta. In comparison to Super Saiyan 5 though, the scaling comparison implies to be above a Super Saiyan 4 fusion. If that's the case, there's no real indication of God or Blue really being above the form, but not vice versa either. However, with the implications of Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 being comparable, it implies that a huge amp above fusion times fusion would be about Super Saiyan 5, so do with that as you will. But this leads us to the question, what if Xicor went Rose? Well, if Xicor is stronger than Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and is a threat to a dimension beyond the macrocosm, it would make him a threat to anyone who doesn't scale to the timeline, specifically in Dragon Ball Super. This means that almost everyone from the Battle of Gods arc to the near end of the Goku Black arc would not stand a chance against even base Xicor. But this does change when you add Goku Black's own timeline feat where he cleaves through a portion of the timeline. It's further backed up as a new dimension of power, with Black saying that it surpasses even his own understanding. Even so, Xicor would still be more concretely at this power than Goku Black. However, it's way more debatable to argue he scales to merge Zamasu, as not only does he threaten the timelines, but his weakened body was capable of becoming one with the timeline and attempted to merge with other timelines. But that's Xicor's normal level of power. Rose would be even more insane, with the amps of Goku using the Spirit Bomb on top of Kaioken times 20 Blue, which was nothing to Jiren, who matched Omen 1. to which Blue Goku surpassed later on to fight a stronger Jiren than before. Then Omen 3 being above this difference in power, which would mean that Goku in MUI by the end of the Tournament of Power would be massively more powerful than Xicor would have been. But by how much? If the Spirit Bomb is comparable to the Kaioken, and Suppressed Jiren could blink it away, then it implies that a 400 times amp could one-shot in comparison, with Goku getting over twice the amp for surpassing Omen 1, then reaching MUI. This would give an estimate of one-shotting over 160,000 times Blue Goku from the beginning of the Tournament of Power. However, Super Saiyan Rose is far beyond a simple 160,000 times multiplier. Even Super Saiyan God would be more than enough to pass this gap. It's very fair to argue if Xicor went Rose, he would solo the Tournament of Power without using even 10% of his strength. And if you think Broly vs Jiren or MUI Goku vs Gogeta Blue is close, then Xicor might just be capable of beating all of them by himself at once. Well, that's a video for another time. If you like this video and want more discussions on hypotheticals in the Dragon Ball multiverse, comment down below and we'll see what's possible in the next world.